In a response to the unprecedented devastation caused by Hurricane Idalia, President Joe Biden is scheduled to travel to Florida this weekend to assess the extent of the damage in the state. Idalia, the most powerful hurricane to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend region in over a century, wrought havoc with heavy rain and destructive winds, especially along the Gulf Coast. After hitting Florida, Idalia continued its destructive path, moving northeastward into Georgia and the Carolinas, causing widespread destruction and flooding. While the hurricane has since been downgraded to a tropical storm, the aftermath presents significant challenges, primarily due to the lingering floodwaters, which complicate cleanup efforts. The Category 3 Hurricane Idalia left a trail of destruction across Florida's predominantly rural northwest region, resulting in an estimated damage cost exceeding $9 billion. Moreover, over 140,000 homes were left without power in the wake of the storm. As the worst of the hurricane subsided, residents across the affected regions began returning to their homes to assess the extent of the damage and begin the arduous process of rebuilding their lives. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced measures to assist those affected by the storm, including a request for a major disaster declaration from the federal government, covering all 25 counties under the hurricane warning. This declaration aims to initiate debris removal and provide funding for individual assistance, which includes shelter and temporary housing for impacted individuals. As Florida commenced its cleanup operations, Hurricane Idalia continued its destructive journey, causing heavy downpours and flooding as it moved across Georgia and the Carolinas. Short-lived tornadoes added to the trail of devastation left by the storm, intensifying the challenges faced by these southeastern states. To gain further insights into the ongoing relief efforts and the immediate needs of affected communities, we spoke with Ethan Foreheads from the disaster relief organization Convoy of Hope. He emphasized the critical need for restoring power, as thousands of residents, particularly in rural areas like Perry, Florida, still lacked electricity. Power restoration is vital, especially given the scorching Florida weather during this time of year. Without electricity, essential services like stores and gas stations cannot operate, making the return to normalcy an uphill battle. Despite the difficult circumstances, affected communities have shown resilience, with organizations like Convoy of Hope and volunteers from across the country coming forward to provide relief supplies and support. While every disaster presents unique challenges, the immediate needs of affected individuals typically revolve around essentials like food, water, and shelter, as well as materials for repairing damaged roofs. The discussion also turned toward the broader issue of climate change, which is increasingly contributing to the frequency and severity of hurricanes. While hurricanes themselves are not necessarily becoming more frequent, they are becoming more destructive on average due to factors like warmer oceans, which fuel these storms with more energy, and rising sea levels, exacerbating coastal flooding. One of the consequences of this increasing devastation is the challenge it poses to the traditional insurance model. Insurance companies traditionally operate under the assumption that insured events are unlikely to occur frequently. However, with climate change leading to more frequent and severe natural disasters, such as hurricanes, the current insurance model is becoming increasingly untenable. In Florida, for instance, homeowners' insurance costs have risen by over 50% since 2015, with the average homeowner now paying over $3,000 annually. In the United States, there are already signs of strain on the insurance system. In states like California, the two largest insurers, Allstate and State Farm, have ceased issuing new policies altogether, unable to bear the costs associated with wildfire damage. The question of who bears the financial burden of extreme weather events looms large. Private insurers, taxpayers through government support, or the individuals and families whose homes are devastated are all potential stakeholders in covering these costs. The issue of flood insurance is particularly pertinent, with the federal government's National Flood Insurance Program operating at a significant deficit. Moreover, there are challenges at the state level, with some states, like Florida, grappling with leaders who deny or downplay the role of climate change in these disasters. Despite the existence of state and local programs encouraging residents to relocate from flood-prone areas, there continues to be a net inflow of people into vulnerable regions. Driven by various factors, including the appeal of living in areas like Florida and Arizona, despite the associated risks. In addressing these challenges, government-sponsored programs for managed retreat, a strategic relocation from vulnerable areas to safer ones, are gradually expanding. These programs aim to provide a more organized approach compared to the chaotic situation that can arise when private insurers withdraw from high-risk areas, leaving residents uncertain about their future. The increasing severity of natural disasters and the financial strain on insurance models underscore the urgent need for stronger government action to mitigate climate change and its impact on communities. The road ahead is fraught with challenges. It is essential to address these issues collectively to build more resilient structures and communities capable of withstanding the storms that may come in the wake of Hurricane Idalia.